Hello, today I'd like to talk to you about how you can bypass the association gatekeeper and access the decision makers. You know, I've been in the speaking business for over 30 years. I've been a member of the National Speakers Association since 1988, and I earned my CSP in 2000. So I've been doing this for a while. One of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about today is, think about looking at some of these workshops that we've been doing over the past year. And I've been talking about various aspects of how to sell to associations. But, it hit me that I really didn't get down into the core, what's the Ed Rigsbee Method? And, for years, since the mid 1990s, when I speak at National Speaker Association chapters, or if I speak at speaker groups around the world, I get into this. So for you today, I really want to dig in here. So let's start. Here's my basic idea. I have found early in my career that I would contact editors of the association publications, and I would give them my articles. Before I guess right after I joined National Speakers Association, early in my career, I got an assignment. I got an assignment for 3 articles, and oh my gosh, they paid me $100 an article. That was big money, and it was for Action Sports Retailer to talk to write articles about add-on sales and selling in the stores. And early in my career, I'd give those articles to association editors, and they'd run them, and they'd start helping me get connected with the meeting decision makers. So fast forward, and I evolved into a system where step 1, write articles on my expertise. You should write articles on your expertise. Put the articles up on your website. Step 2, call association editors or directors of communication, whatever the case may be, and offer them your articles. Do that as a relationship bank deposit. Then the next step, that would be step 4, or that'd be step 3. That doesn't matter. Anyway, so then what you do is you use the doorknob close right after you've chatted with them. And that is asking them how to get to the association or to the decision maker, who the decision maker is, and then have them connect you. So let me walk you through it. Now, this basic script that I'm getting ready to share with you, if you're a member of the community, ASSC, to get the script, all you got to do is go to speakercommunity.org, click on resources, click on downloads, and there's a script for you there. And you can get it for free. If you're not a member of the community, you can go to sellingtoassociations.com and you can buy the script. So here's how it goes. Call up, and it's like, hi, I get to the editor. Hi, my name is Ed Rigsbee. The reason I'm calling you today is I wanted to offer articles adapted from my books on strategic alliance development. I think these articles could help your members in growing their business, improving their business, lowering their cost. And then I would go through, explain a little bit more about it and say, do you use outside editors? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And if they say yes, I say, well, can you take just a minute and connect to my website? I'd like to show you where these articles are. About a third of the time, maybe half the time, they're already at my website. Which kind of blows me away. So I take them to my website. Now my website, it's in the blog mechanism. My website, it doesn't say blog. It says article bank. It's the whole blog mechanism on the WordPress sites, but it just says article bank. And I've got about 8 or 9 sub menus. So I'll talk to the editor. I say, here, would you click on Article Bank, and once you click on Strategic Alliance Articles, you'll see here that there's over 100 articles adapted from my books that you can use anytime. And if you notice on the bottom, there's permission to reprint. And the permission is, as long as you use my bio and use my URL, that's great. And you have permission to edit if you need to make the article a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. If you want to change a couple things that are more industry specific, help yourself. And even if you want to change the title a bit, I don't mind. So let me stop right there. So when I'm talking to this editor, do I really care if my article gets published? Well, kinda, but that's not the end all. What I care about is making a relationship bank deposit with this editor so the editor feels just a teeny bit indebted to me because I helped them with something, because in a minute I'm going to ask them to help me with something. Too many speakers obsess on whether the articles get published. That's not the game. That's not the game. Yes, if your articles get published, I mean, I've gotten business where people have called me and asked me if I speak on an article that was published. And heck, I've even got business from people reading my articles in magazines. I never even talked to the editors. They just found me on the internet and used my stuff, again, because I have permission to reprint right there. So I'm talking to the editor about the articles. I said, if show them where it is. I say, you notice that the articles all have titles. It has word count. So when you're looking for a certain length article, just as an FYI for you and I, to know, most association or most magazines have printed pages about 700 words. So I try to do my articles anywhere between 600 words and 1,400 words. So it's like, 1 or 2 page article. And I show them that you just click on the article, bing, there it is, and you can take it. And I go over the permission to reprint. And I say, hey, my goal is to be a resource for you 24/7. I don't know if you ever had the situation where like a member promised an article and they didn't come through. And a lot of times the editors will laugh and go, yeah, that hasn't happened since yesterday. And so it's this way 24/7. You can grab one of my articles. You can make it fit in your spot. You don't even have to check with me. And I tell editors, I said, because quite frankly, you as an editor will probably make me look smarter than I am. And they kind of like that, makes them feel good. And quite frankly, it's the truth. So then now we're at the end of the conversation. We're at the end of the call. And I use the doorknob close. Oh, by the way, before I let you go, one quick last question. They go, what is that? Right now, their guard is down, they're relaxed because the call wasn't, I wasn't trying to sell them anything. I was just trying to give them something that might help their members improve their businesses. And I say, before we go, could you tell me who is it that is the decision maker on selecting speakers for your meetings? And a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, Jane Jones is our meeting planner. And I go, oh, that's great. Now, let me just understand, is Jane Jones the decision maker, or is Jane really more the logistics person? And sometimes they'll say, no, Jane makes the decisions. I go, okay, perfect. Sometimes they say, well, no, actually, Sally is our executive director and she really makes the decisions. I say, oh, it's Sally. And then I ask, could you do me this last favor before we part company? Could you just connect me with Sally's extension? Because I'd like to introduce myself and talk to her about the articles that I've made available to you, and ask her how to go about putting my name in the hat for being considered as a speaker. Sometimes they'll connect you, sometimes they won't. It's a numbers game. Selling is a numbers game. The most important word for people in sales is next, N-E-X-T. If this one doesn't work, make the next call. To do this, yes, I'm sorry, but you do have to pick up the phone. I know a lot of speakers don't like to pick up the phone, but you have to pick up the phone. But you're not making a sales call, you're making a warm call. You're making a relationship call. You're making a call to offer your content. So back to if the editor connects me with the decision maker, I've got a much better chance of getting through because it's an internal connection as opposed to an external person trying to get through. Then if and quite frankly, if I don't get through, if I only get the voicemail, that's fine. And if I get through, I say something similar, but I'll say to the decision maker, I said, hey, I was just talking with your editor, and I'll use the editor's name, and I made a number of articles adapted from my books on strategic alliance development available to your organization that can probably help your members with this, that, and the other. And then I'll say something like, in our conversation, she said your members are dealing with this problem, this problem, this problem. Is that right? And then the decision maker would go, yeah, that is a problem for my members. Well, in addition to these articles that will be helpful for your members, I wanted to find out from you, how would I go about getting my name in the hat to be considered as a speaker sometime, either for your annual conference, or if you have leadership meetings or marketing meetings or various webinar series. How would one go about that? And then I just shut up and I let the association exec tell me how to sell to them. They're going to either tell me, do A, do B, do C. They're going to maybe say, oh man, you just missed out. We just finished, hiring our speakers for next year. And I go, oh, that's not a problem. Do you do any other meetings during the year where you might use speakers? And would that be the same person, yourself, or somebody else I'd want to talk to? I just try to noodle for as much information as I can. And I try not to leave, dollars on the table by only focusing on their annual meeting and their keynote. As a matter of fact, just today, earlier, I was talking with an association executive. We're getting ready to record one of our interviews. And he says, hey, I don't hire speakers for keynotes. No? He says, no, but we hire them for this and this and this and this and this. And you start going through all the things they do. And I go, whoa, that's amazing. So in that situation, if you only called and tried to sell a keynote, you'd get nowhere. But you've got to go further and ask about the other things. Now, the association executive might say, hey, why don't you get back with me in about 2 months? And because that's where we're going to start a process for looking at speakers, and they'll go for it. You go, great. And, you put it in your CRM to, or if you use flip cards or whatever you use, or if you only use, Google Calendar, whatever. But what you want to do is make it a point, okay, in a couple of months when they said to contact them and talk to them. If you can only leave a voicemail, then do something similar, and on the voicemail, just say, I'll call you back tomorrow. But the idea is, think about, ultimately, we want to find the decision maker. Because I used to, early in my career, I used to call up all these meeting planners, all these nice little girls that were 20 years old that just got out of college. And I was so excited to send them my speaker packet that they probably threw away when it got there. And I didn't get it. I didn't get that I wasn't talking to the decision maker. And a lot of times the meeting planners, the logistics people, aren't going to be truthful. They're going to indicate that they make the decisions, but a lot of times they don't. So that's why the editor will know. 9 out of 10 times the editor will know who makes the decisions at that organization. And if you use them to help you get to the decision maker, you're going to waste a lot less time. And when you get to this decision maker, you can actually have a sales conversation. But remember, don't get on the phone right off the chute and say, hey, book me for your meeting. No. It's about make a relationship with them, talk to them about what you've done for their association, the articles you're giving, talk to them about understanding what their members' problems are, then talk to them about, hey, if our circles of interest overlap, which I think it does, what's our next step? Now, I know that, I've done workshops on getting to association executives through LinkedIn. And if you've attended other or previous of these networking events, you maybe have seen that workshop. And that is another way to get to the association executives. It's somewhat effective. But the thing is, if you really get down to it, when you go in the back door through the editor and you make a relationship bank deposit with the editor, and the editor helps you to get to the decision maker, it just seems to work better. And you've got something to talk about beyond hire me as a speaker. And I think that's where a lot of speakers that are breaking into the business earlier in their career just kind of make a big mistake. Calling associations, hi, I'm a speaker on X, book me. No, it's not the way it works. Hi, I'm a subject matter expert on strategic alliance development, and I'd like to make articles adapted from my books on this topic available to your members. Do you use outside editors? See, that's a very different conversation. It's a very, very different conversation. It's one where I'm helping your association, and part of helping your association is being a speaker someday at your meetings. Well, that's the crux of what I wanted you to think about. So all of the things, all of these workshops that we do on these networking events, they're different aspects of eventually selling to association people or societies people. But the key, and a lot of speakers forget, I gotta laugh. One time I was doing one of my selling to associations intensives. No, I was speaking at a NSA chapter, and I did about a day program on how to do this. And somebody, this person will remain nameless, and I won't even say what chapter it was. She had attended one of my intensives maybe 2 years before, and she came up to me and said, your system doesn't work. And I said, really? She says, no. I said, that's odd. I said, well, tell me, why don't you kind of tell me, give me the script that you use when you call the association executives. She said, what script? I don't use a script. I email them. This person completely missed the point. She was so afraid to make a call that she had to email. Okay? It doesn't work. The idea is talk to these editors, talk to these directors of communications, talk to a human being, make a relationship bank deposit with that human being, and then ask that human being to help you get to the decision maker. That's what will work. All the other stuff is good. All the other stuff is helpful. All the other stuff is in addition to. But if you don't talk to people, you might not get as many bookings, because I know for a fact that when you get on the phone and you talk to people, stuff happens. Now, I know we've got showcases going, and that's helpful, and people are getting bookings from the showcases, and we've got this going, and we've got LinkedIn, and we've got that going. But remember, the core thing that you want to do is